Hello, everyone. I am so excited that we are back. We took a little bit of a hiatus during the Thanksgiving United States holiday. And today we are back, and I'm so excited to have this conversation with these three amazing women. Today we're going to talk about wellness in the holiday season. We know that many of us, even my daughter yesterday was like complaining that, she's eaten too much sugar. And so we had that conversation that we're all kind of in that same place and it's okay. We had that conversation. So today we're going to talk a little bit more in depth. I'm actually having three experts in that theme and that topic so that we have experts that are going to provide their wisdom for us today. If you're joining us live, please feel free to ask questions. We are here for you. We want you to do really well. We want you to feel connected to your wellness. We want you to feel happy, no stress during this holiday season when it comes to your nutrition, your diet. And if you're watching the replay, because I know so many of you watch the replay on the weekend, you can always reach out to these three women right here. They are from our FemCity Global Program. They are our featured experts, and they are our go-to women when it comes to specifically this topic about wellness. And so let's go ahead and get started. So we have Dr. Laura. She is, and of course my notes are all running in together. She is a functional medicine doctor. And I also have Laurie Hunt, who is the founder of the More in Me movement. And then we have Shelley, who is a registered dietitian, nutritionist as well. So again, three amazing experts. And so what is your top advice for women looking to work on their wellness, especially during the holidays? I know many are not waiting till January 1st. They're recognizing that perhaps they need to address some issues right now. There might be more temptation around. I mean, with parties, especially that some of us are able to now gather safely. So we have all of these things going on. How do we stay connected? How do we work on that? Let's go to Dr. Laura for her advice.
Yes, thank you. Something that I always see at this time of year is this pattern where women start to stress themselves out. There's a lot of obligations sometimes at the holidays. We're trying to coordinate travel, family coming in, gatherings. There's more happy hours and holiday parties and all of these other things that aren't our normal routine. But I want to remind you of something important, which is your body hears everything that your mind says. So I'm going to say that one more time. Your body hears what your mind says. So if you go into this season in the mindset of, oh my gosh, this is so much stressful, I just need to wait till January 1st and then I'll get my reset in, I'll start over fresh. You're telling your body that everything you're doing for the next month is a stressor. It's a danger zone. And it shouldn't be that. Who wants to spend the holidays that way? So I really recommend sticking to the path of your normal routine and moderation. And when you're out enjoying time with friends, with family, doing holiday things, you only do this once a year. So check in with yourself and remind yourself, oh, it is so fun. And I'm so grateful that I get to do this. And tomorrow I'm going to wake up and do my normal routine, whether that's going on a walk, whether that's eating a certain way that makes you feel amazing. And you're not going to punish yourself and you're not going to stress yourself out and make yourself feel guilty. You're going to just do what you always do and really come from this place of mindfulness and gratitude. I think when women start to make that shift, they actually really enjoy the holiday season. They don't end up, waking up January 1st like, oh gosh, now I got to go on that diet. I got to nobody, we're done. We're leaving that in the past. We're not doing that anymore. So that's my biggest piece of advice as I walk women through this busy season. Keep doing what you're doing and really be mindful about what you're thinking because your body really does hear that.
I love that. So my daughter, you'll laugh at this. So we had Thanksgiving last Thursday, obviously, and my daughter who lives in New York City was in town, and I usually don't eat sugar and I usually don't eat gluten. And I was like, I'm going to have the pecan pie. I'm just going to have the pecan pie. And so my daughter, my 22-year-old was like, so you can have a pie, but I don't want to hear you complaining. I don't want you to be saying how your stomach is hurting, how your whole body is bloated, how your rings don't even move, like all the things I usually say. She's like, and I don't want to hear. So you can go and enjoy that, but make sure. And sure enough, the next morning, I was like, I'm not going to complain because what you just said right now, Dr. Laura, I'm not going to complain. Mm-hmm. It is what it is. I enjoyed that pecan pie. I actually had 2 very small pieces of pecan pie. because I was like, you know what, I'm going to just be present, and it is what it is, and I'm not going to complain about it. Just what you said right now is just, allow yourself, but recognize that the words that you say impact. Because I would have been, had she not told me that, I would have been like punishing myself the next day. Like, how can you walk? Like, how could you do this?
100%.
And you look, it's just, it would have spiraled into this whole other place. I just don't do well with sugar, and I just don't do well with gluten. I mean, that's my body.
Yeah.
It is what it is. So thank you for that advice. Let's go to Laurie Hunt. What is your advice for women that are looking to work on their wellness, especially during the holiday season? Oh, wait, hold on. Let's go ahead and unmute you.
Yeah, there we go. You think I'd know that by now, the old unmute button. Thanks, Violet. I'm going to build on what Dr. Laura said and what you were talking about, because it's choosing with intention. So some people just love the busyness and baking cookies at midnight and, a glass of wine or a piece of pecan pie, whatever it is. So there's no right or wrong. It's really just being aware of what works for you as an individual. And if you start to feel overwhelmed, then, to take that moment. So this idea of being in the moment, and I like to describe it as, this learning to linger. So even if you're really busy and you're making cookies at midnight, be in that moment and feel the joy of whatever you're making, or if you're preparing a meal, or, out shopping, whatever you're doing, be present in that sense of just linger in it for a moment. Just be there doing what you're doing. And then you'll have that'll give you the information you need to pay attention to the messages coming from your brain, your body, your gut, all those things, to be able to choose what's next. And drink tons and tons and tons of water and get outside, do things with people. So I guess what I'm saying is focus more on the being side, not just the doing, because there's always a to-do list, but who do you want to be in the process of doing or celebrating or engaging in the holidays?
I love that. And I love also the focus of what you just shared right now, is that focusing it on not so much the physical side of wellness when people think about food, but thinking more about wellness in the holidays as an experience with other humans, doing things outside. So kind of redirecting that narrative that holidays equals sugar, sweets, making cookies at midnight, and redirecting it to say holidays means spending time with those that I love, taking time outside, going kayaking, taking those walks. I love that perspective. I love that. Let's go to Shelley. Shelley, what is your advice for women that are looking at working on their wellness during the holiday season?
We said, we're going to reiterate what each other have said, both Dr. Laura and Laurie. Few things that I always like to remind people to do is, as much as possible, stick to your routine. And that's a little what Dr. Laura had said. Monday through Friday, whatever is happening, or as a lot of us do, Sunday night through Friday mid-afternoon, still have your regular routine. The holidays are, if we do have a season here, and of course, baking cookies for tomorrow's event or whatever it may be is, not our norm, I would imagine, unless we have a cookie shop. But it's just, as much as possible, stick to your routine. And from the food perspective, I encourage people to still have their regular breakfast and lunch, or whatever their meal pattern happens to be throughout the day. Even on Thanksgiving morning, I made breakfast for my family, because we weren't going to eat until 2 or 3. And then what would have happened? We would have overeaten, likely. Part of one of the things I like to tell people is think of the GPS. So when we're having a GPS taking us to somewhere new, if we miss a turn, we're not like, screw it, I'll just keep going until I hit the next state. We turn and course correct as much as possible, or as soon as possible, I should say. So don't say, oh my gosh, okay, I messed up, whatever that may be. On Tuesday, I'll just restart next Monday. The very next meal, you can make a different choice. You can. People have this mindset, and we've all seen it, where Monday, or the first of the month, or the first of the year, or the milestone birthday is when that thing has to happen. And you can reset, course correct on a Thursday, middle of the day, even if you had pecan pie for breakfast. So that's something that I think is just a mindset that people have, we have to do things on a certain day of the week. And then, like you were saying, Violet, about, you were reminded the consequences of what was going to happen, how you feel personally when you eat something that doesn't make you feel great. In that moment, we're having the drink, we're having the pie, we're having the sugar that's not going to help us feel good later on. Just try to remember that and weigh the balance that, yes, I really want to have a piece of that pie. Consequences be damned, and I'll just have to live with it. And we all still do that. If we had memories of things that would hurt, we would never do things over again. Like I said, we wouldn't keep walking because it hurt when we fell. So we wouldn't do it anymore. So just acknowledge that we do things like this. We eat things or do things that don't make us feel good, but just remember, don't beat ourselves up. Like we said, don't beat ourselves up. The guilt is only for us. Nobody else seems to care. And going back to the overwhelm, if we didn't have 3 different types of cookie to take tomorrow to whatever it may be, who's going to know that we had intended to make 3 kinds of cookies and we only did 2? Nobody. So a lot of this comes from within. My husband is fond of telling me that I choose to make my life complicated, which I acknowledge and recognize. A lot of this is the the burdens I put on myself, and other people aren't usually expecting all those things. The cookies at midnight, you can swing by the grocery store tomorrow morning. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, I love that. I think also, I don't know about you girls, but the last year and a half, I have, like, this holiday season, I cheated, right? I bought everything pre-made. Everything was organic, and it was super healthy, and we did the vegetable things. And I was like, I don't care. I don't care. There's no judgment. I don't care who judges me. It's their problem, not mine. I feel like there's a lot more of that behavior, which I think is healthy, to be like, you know what? I'm not going to make 3 sets of cookies. I'll make the one, or I'll swing by and I'll get them for the party or whatever. But to give ourselves more grace, I feel like that has been the biggest lesson I have personally learned from this pandemic, is that to not be so hard on myself, and of course, then on others, because as we see ourselves, we see others. I love that. So we have some love that came through. Let's see. Emila says, I love the idea of sticking to my routine. I'm so much more present when I do, and I have more fun. Thanks, Shelley. And then Linda, I love the holidays to change up my daily routine and not stick to it. Not my eating, in my actions. I love that. I wonder what the success rate is. I mean, this is totally, like, just came to mind. I don't know if anyone knows this, but I wonder what the success rate is for those that wait till January 1st to be healthier and just kind of wreck through December. I wonder, are people more successful January 1st when they're like, okay, I'm going to start? I suspect not. I suspect that the most successful path is more kind of what Shelley was saying now, like, you know what? I ate that pecan pie, I ate 2 pieces of pecan pie. My next meal, I'm going to go back to my veggies. I'm going to go back to eating properly. Any thoughts? I mean, that's totally off the hook. I know it wasn't planned to ask that question, but I'm just curious now. Anyone have experience on either one?
Yeah, I think it's like under 20% of New Year's resolutions, people actually stick with them. It may be even less than that. Really, what we see more and more is when people do that, especially for women, it creates this sense of a last hurrah throughout the holidays, where they actually put themselves in a quote unquote worst starting place before heading into January, versus people who just stick with a moderate routine throughout the year, their normal stuff. That gives us much more long-term success.
Yeah, that totally makes sense.
And in the past, I've done programming when I worked in corporate wellness, programming of maintain, don't gain, or just, it was really just more awareness between anywhere from Halloween to New Year's, or Thanksgiving to New Year's. And it was really not to promote weight loss. It was just awareness of what we were doing. And a lot of people found great success in some of those motivational tips that we were giving them in the interim time. to say, hey, it's okay. Like we were saying, it's okay to do this and okay to have the cookies and the sugar, whatever it may be. And a lot of times the people in my program maintained, and in some cases lost weight. And we didn't just go by numbers on the scale, but we encouraged activity and other measures as well. So increased awareness, and even saying something out loud, even if we don't necessarily have an accountability buddy, makes a huge difference. Saying, hey, I'm not going to let December mess with me this year. And I'm going to say it publicly. And that's all I need to do. And people are going to be like, oh, I can do that too. I'm just not going to let it mess with me, whatever that may look like for people.
Yeah. So Linda says, based on my buying pre-made food, that's not cheating. It's being smart and setting an example for your kids. You know, it is. We spend more time with each other, and it's just much more enjoyable. And we have a vegan table for the vegans in our family. We have the Cuban table for the Cubans that want the pork and all the stuff that goes with the Cuban dietary obligatory items for the holidays. And then we have the American, because my stepmother loves American Thanksgiving. So we have all sorts of, I can't keep up. So it's just easier that way. Final advice that you have, I know Dr. Laurie, you shared some right now, but do you have any final advice?
Yeah, my other piece of advice that I like to give, and I know a lot of you are high achievers, so stay with me. If you're really looking to like grow your wellness routine in this season, pick one thing. It can be adding in a walk after dinner. It can be adding an extra glass of water in the morning. Literally one thing, and commit to doing it every day for the rest of December. It's going to do a couple things. It allows you to habit build. And whenever we set small, simple tasks and then complete them, it hits our reward centers in the brain. We get a good dopamine rush, and we're much more likely to carry those habits through into the new year. So one thing, not 5, just one.
Love it. Love it. All right. Some more love came through. Thanks for sharing your wisdom and great suggestions. Let's go to Laurie. Laurie, your final advice?
I love that you showed 2 comments, excuse me, Violet, one from Emma who said, oh, I keep my routine. And then Linda says, oh, I love getting off routine. And I think what that shows is you do you. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, and connect to what's really important to you. Because I used to love candy. Heck, I had cigarettes, candy, and Diet Coke on my desk for most of my 20 years of my corporate job. Now, you know, all of those are gone, but I am someone who does bake cookies on a regular basis because I've discovered all these healthy ones. I don't know if any of you know Nanaimo bars. They're kind of a Canadian thing, very decadent square. But I came across an energy bar that's completely 100% healthy, and it tastes like Nanaimo bars. So I think there's new ways that and how that ties back to what really matters. Energy matters to me. It's not hard for me to forego pecan pie as much as I love it, because I know I'll crash. So I have other options where I can get the same, you know, enjoyment of having a treat, knowing that that treat is healthy as opposed to, you know, a sugar thing. So, and the other thing, you know, building on what Shelley said, is every moment we get to begin again. So yeah, we blow it one moment. So what? Move on and begin again the next moment. So I'm going to end with a really fast little tip that everybody can use, because this idea, I think we're all talking about getting in the moment, you know, being aware, lingering, all these things, beginning again. So I'm just going to lead you through small breaths. It only takes a few seconds. So if you're sitting up in your chair, and close your eyes, inhale through your nose, lower your chin, exhale through your nose, inhale through your nose again, raise the corners of your mouth, lift your chin, exhale through your nose, and open your eyes. That little breath, actually, from a physiological perspective, is shifting your energy, helping you calm, and it just brings you present into the moment. And you can do that in a grocery store line, in a car, anywhere. So there's a little something that you can take with you in the holidays to just help you linger in the moment. And did you want call to action now, Violet?
No, we're gonna when we close out. But I love that. I was thinking, you know, I'm not able to drink wine. Like as of maybe a couple months ago, I have like a now allergic reaction to pretty much all wines. It started with like red wines, and then it went to white wines, and it went to rosé, and then now it's a champagne. So I literally, there's just no, yeah.
Oh, no.
So, but what I love your tip, because what I've been doing is when we go out to dinner, or when I had a business meeting yesterday with our attorney, and she ordered a glass of Pinot Grigio. To treat myself, I got a bottle of the Perrier, right? Like the sparkling water. Because at the end of the day, that's what it is that you want something a little special, a little different. And that substitute has made me so happy. I don't really miss drinking. I mean, I do miss drinking champagne because I love champagne, but it's
I
fine.
do too. We haven't had a chance to share bubbly yet.
Yeah. I know. Well, hopefully the allergy goes away.
Yeah.
But going back to your point is like, if you can plan ahead and know what you can substitute and it still brings you joy, then it makes it a lot easier. And that stress isn't there. You can just like, now I just order it, and I just tell everyone, I'm like, I'm just having asthma and I'm giving it up for a while because there's something going on. But I love that. I love that perspective and kind of that tip also to replace it with something else. Like you were talking about your bars, which I will not try to pronounce. Linda posted it there. Nani Yomo. How did you say it again? Nanaimo. Okay, so now we need the recipe. We all need the recipe, Linda. I mean, Laurie, for Linda.
For the healthy one, I assume.
Yes, exactly. Shelley, your final tip?
My final tip is, what's the worst that could happen? I mean, of course, we can have some serious things, and I don't want to blow that off, but what's the worst that can happen if I do drop the platter of cookies? What was the worst thing that just happened? You just spent this time, you made cookies, you dropped a platter of cookies, and what? Nothing serious happened. So in the big picture, when I'm frustrated standing in a line, I'm like, a year from now, this is not going to matter. A week from now, it's not going to matter that I spent 10 minutes in line. So I really try to reframe the mindset of the moment and really recognize the only person that is being impacted is me. I'm the only person frustrated by sitting in the line at Starbucks because I chose to go there or whatever it may be. Nobody else cares. So recognizing and reframing what's the worst that could happen, or in a week from now, is this really going to matter? No. And it may be something funny that we're laughing about or talking about on a wellness topic here, where it's not a big deal in the big picture.
Yeah, I love that question also, because I think to the other perspective of like, if you ask yourself the question, will this matter? Eating that cookie. Like if I ask myself, like, will this matter? You know what? Yeah, in a couple hours, my tummy's going to hurt. So it's, you know what? I'm not going to choose to have that. Right. So you can ask that question for that perspective, for that purpose as well. Because sometimes if you ask yourself that question, the response is, like my daughter, right, reminded me, I don't want to hear you complaining. I don't want to hear you saying like how you're all swollen and you can't get out, your belly's all, and she's right. Having that clarity, saying, you know what, is it worth it? You know what, I'm going to step forward and do that. And now I'll learn my lesson. It's not worth it. Like now for Christmas, it's not worth it.
My Thanksgiving turkey was still slightly frozen when I took it out on Thursday morning. And it turns out it wasn't done till almost 3:00 rather than 2. And you know what? Nothing happened.
Yeah.
It hit temperature. Nobody got sick. And I wasn't freaking out. And my son was like, wow, I'm really shocked, Mom. I'm like, get out of my house now. Again, kids reminding us of these things. So.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So how can femmes find you to learn more about the work you're doing in this world, Dr. Laura?
Me unmute myself. Yep. So you can find me on Instagram or Facebook, just under my name, Dr. Laura DeCesaris. And I would love to meet as many of you as possible. And if you have questions about what functional medicine is, how it can help you, feel free to reach out anytime. We can hop on a coffee chat, and I'm happy to provide you any resources you may want or need.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And Laurie Hunt, how can they find you?
My website is lauriehunt.com, and you'll find links to all my social media there. And I also have a free download of some that has a few more of the 1-minute mood shifters that you can bring into your day to help you out.
Awesome. Thank you. I had to mute myself because you know who was acting up. Shelley, how can femmes find you to learn more about the work you're doing in this world?
The best way to find me is at my website, ShelleyRael.com, where you can find information on a free mini course I have, 6 tips for the busy professional to eat healthier, and where you can find information about my podcast I just launched in October, Real World Nutrition. So all kinds of great information there and how to reach me. And of course, I'm on Facebook. Hard not to find me there some days.
Love it. Thank you so much. And Linda, I love Linda's keep it zesty with all the orange. I never even knew there was an orange emoji. That is adorable. That is so cute. I had no idea. Thank you so much, all three of you, for joining me today. I hope that those that watched found incredible value in all of their shares. And please keep in touch. Let us know how these tips helped you. Tell us about your tips also. If there are some other tips that you're using, would be great to hear that as well. So thank you so much. We wish you a great rest of the week, and we'll be back next Wednesday. Bye.